I think it does them better. If you go from military to law enforcement, I think it better equips the officer rather than a kid who just goes through the law enforcement academy and then comes out. Like, I think you'll see a big difference on how they react to the community, how they respond to matters of high stress, even to just the way that they talk. We're always sir, ma'am. We're always very respectful while we're military types. And it's just hard to explain. There's just a lot that you can take away from military experience, especially if you're combat arms. If you're combat arms, like I was, which was infantry, in my experience in the sense of kicking down doors to being that 100% on the escalation scale of really fighting. We kind of understand this controlled chaos is what we call it. Controlled chaos. We know how to de-escalate or escalate at any time, but there's not a need for that in the United States. And I'm going to be quite honest, there's not a need for that war fighting mentality though on the streets. But you always have it in the back of your head and you need to amp it up. And I think it also does help out with things like active shooting that we face quite a lot. I think that with military, you're more than well equipped to just run towards gunfire and go and save a bunch of children inside a building that are unfortunately being massacred by some sort of crazy shooter. And I think that the Nashville one was a great example. Those officers, prior veterans, they just put on their plate carriers and they just went straight into the building. They didn't even think twice. They just went in and saved people at this school. And I think that's just something that's kind of built into us, that drive. I don't know how to explain it. Besides, there's a lot to be said for officers who start off in the military and then come on over. It's just weird because I could say we know how to show up on time. And on time to us is 15 minutes early. You and I were talking about it earlier where you saw me kind of pop up really early. I'm always early to whatever it is because that military is ingrained in me. I always wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't know why, but I'm always up there, always working out. I'm just extremely structured, and I think that also helps out with the officers as well because I dealt with a lot of officers that weren't military. You could tell the difference between me and them. My haircut would be a certain way. I would get a haircut every week. I would have, certain standards with my uniform to where if I felt my badge was a little bit off, I would read so we're always there's just so much structure to discipline, and I think that really helps the police officers as well.